feels great for you. And if you need me for anything, feel free. I won't see a chat if it pops up. Just feel free to turn your camera on and frantically wave, and I will come and find you. So blink it if you want it.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted, but you might want to put the camera down a little bit because the mat is a little bit cut off, but...
Yeah, I adjusted it because we were going to stand a little bit, but okay. If you're happy with not seeing my face, that's okay. I'll turn it down a little bit for you. Is that better? That's good?
Yeah, that's good.
Awesome. Okay.
I don't know if we were doing, but whatever.
No, it's good. Sometimes I set it up and then it moves. So I always appreciate the heads up. Okay, let's do a little bit of standing. Let's stand. Let's find standing. So anywhere on your mats is fine, and I will meet you there. So finding yourself on your mat, you can give yourself a little bit of, I've been really into doing like a little bit of a shakedown, mostly because it's good for us to do so, but sometimes in group classes, it can feel a little bit funny to do it all together, whereas when you're at home in your own privacy, you can kind of like maybe go a little bit wild and not have to worry about it. So I'm like shaking my hands, shaking my shoulders, shaking my legs, just sort of like truly shaking off my day. You can close your eyes if you want to. You can give yourself a breath, and not that we're shaking because anything bad has happened, but it's just sort of to like wake up the body. You can take your hands and give yourself a little pitter patter sort of all over. If you have anywhere that's sore, you can take your hands. Like I definitely have a shoulder thing, so I'm going to give that a little massage. You can give your eyes, your face a little massage. Don't actually massage your eyeballs. That would be painful. Giving your hairline a little massage, little taps around your chest, around your glutes and hips, inner thighs, outer thighs, and just like shake, 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 shake. It's also kind of a nice way to like have a really big break in energy. We've been sitting, maybe working all morning, and now we're going to move our bodies. So to really shake it out, you can close your eyes for 5. I'm not pretending with my voice for 4. That's actually what it's doing. For 3, for 2, and then find a little bit of stillness. And just hopefully you can feel a little bit of pulsing of energy. Maybe your breath is going a little bit nice and soft through our knees. We're going to nod our nose, nod our chins. Start to roll down in space like you're rolling into a cinnamon bun. And I always say that because cinnamon buns roll in on themselves, right? And that's sort of the energy I'd like to create here. Gentle bend in the knees as you let your torso fall forward. Take a breath in and then push down through the earth as you breathe out. Restack your vertebrae so you're up a little bit taller than when you started. Maybe give those arms a bit of a stretch if that feels good. Give yourself a little bit of a side-to-side stretch. Then when you're ready again, nodding your nose, nodding your chin, curling in on yourself as you go. Letting the knees be gently bent and not letting this be passive, yeah? Like feeling your feet in the ground, letting your head be heavy. And then as you push the floor away, squeeze up through your glutes. So your feet go down, your glutes go on, and that sort of acts like a bit of a flagpole rope to pull you up. Again, at the top, you can give your arms a bit of a stretch if you'd like. Maybe come up onto your toes. Then one more time, gentle bend in the knees as we nod in. And the reason why it's okay, well, it's always okay to bend in your knees, but I don't want us to have straight legs here because I want this to be more of a full body experience for us versus just hamstrings. Keeping your knees bent, let's place our right hand on the floor. As your right hand finds the floor, your left leg can straighten. And that floor might not be real, right? It might be hand to shin. It might be hand to thigh. All of those are totally options. Left hand can come to your chest as you rotate your spine around to the left, and then left arm can go up. We're going to take this for a little bit of a twisterooskies. So keep your legs where they are. So right now, right knee is bent, left leg is straight, right hand is on the floor. Left arm reaches up, and as you breathe out, you're just going to thread the left arm underneath the right, like you're trying to reach underneath the right armpit to something beside you. Unravel that as you inhale, reach that left arm up again. And then exhale, thread it through. That left leg stays straight if it can. 2 more times, reaching it up. Oh, my shoulder just popped. And then reach it out. One more time. Unravel your twist to reach the left arm up. Thread that left arm through. And then we'll unravel again and just pause. So the left arm is up. The left leg is straight. Right knee bent. Right hand on your floor or your shin or your thigh. Take one more breath in here. And as you breathe out, bring those hands down, gently bend through both your knees, push the floor away, roll yourself all the way back up, standing tall. Shoulders can take a roll, maybe your neck goes for a little circle here. And then last time like this, nodding the nose, gentle bend in the knees, we roll ourselves down in space. Keeping those knees ever so slightly bent so that we make it more full-bodied. Left hand this time finds the floor or your shin or your thigh, keeping that left knee bent, maybe straightening the right leg this time. Right hand comes to the center of your chest, and then we turn. And I want you to find the hand to chest first to get a truer rotation through your thoracic. Maybe reach that right arm up if that's available to you, so you get a bit of a stretch through the front part of the chest. And then if you'd like to twist this, breathe out. You're going to reach that right arm underneath the left arm, but stretch, stretch, stretch. Allowing as you inhale that unraveling, maybe you open a little bit more, and then as you exhale, threading it through. And if your body feels anything like mine, you definitely have one side that's a little bit tighter with this rotation, and that's totally fine. One more time. It's just good to know right before we start moving and demanding things of our bodies to know where we're at. Unravel that right arm, lengthening it up, keep stretching out through that right side. Take one more breath in. As you breathe out, bring the right hand down. We're going to start to walk forward and come down onto hands and knees. We're just going to take our hands, and if you'd like to, you can kind of make them into little fists, like little paws, and you're just going to give them a little roll. So I would like to start with a kneeling. I'm just sort of like rolling my wrists out with a kneeling quad hamstring situation, and then we're going to add some rotation to open up through the chest to that. So if you know that you'd like a little bit of padding for your knees, this is a great chance to grab that blanket or roll up your mat a little bit, whatever feels good, so that we can come up to kneeling. Ta-da! So I'm setting myself up so that my knees are hip distance apart. And I'm trying to stack myself up nice and tall. We're going to take your hands to start so that your hands cross your chest. We're going to keep this small, and then we're going to build it up. So right out of the gate, can we start to feel this grounding down of the legs, the tallness of our spine? Notice if your rib cage wants to pop out, we're going to take a second just to breathe here. So inhaling through your nose into the backs and sides of your ribs. As you exhale out through your mouth, let the rib cage draw down. Pelvic floor, right? That sling of tissues, pubic bone to coccyx draws up. And so as we inhale, as we think about that expansive breath, these things can sort of soften away from each other. And then as we breathe out, they're sliding towards your midsection, wrapping around. And we almost want to feel like we're doing like a little bit like Saturday Night Fever, like hip thrust here. So pubic bone leads the way. Glutes are on. We're going to take a breath in. And as we breathe out, we're going to just hinge back. Keep this first one small. And I just want you to notice if suddenly you feel stuff in your back, your knees, can we scoop our pelvis like tons. Think tall through the spine. Take one more breath in. Squeeze your bum. Use the backs of your legs to pull yourself back up. Inhaling to be up. Now your toes can be tucked or untucked. It's up to you. As you breathe out, keep scooping your pelvis. Take that bit of a hinge. Maybe you can go a little further this time. Hold it here for a beat. And then breathe out again. Use your bum. Now your quads are definitely happening here. Inhale. Exhale, take it back. But I feel like we all feel that anyway, so we don't have to worry about turning them on, but the back of the leg will take a break. Take one more breath in. Backs of the legs fire up to pull you up in space. 2 more times. Inhale. As we exhale, keep thrusting that pubic bone forward. This is also a really great way to open up through the front of your hip. Take a breath in. Keep squeezing the glutes, backs of the legs as you pull yourself up. One more time. Breathe it in. As we breathe out, you're going to take that little hinge back and you're just going to hold it. Take a breath in here. Breathe out, hold it, keep growing long. Can you find more space through your vertebrae? Keep scooping through your pubic bone. It feels ever so slightly like a little ab curl. For 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. Use those glutes. Last one, bring yourself up. We're going to take ourselves all the way down to sit towards our heels, but we're not going to be here super long. Your hands are going to stay across your chest for now. We're going to do like a little hiccup lift. So staying tall, breathe in. Use your glutes. You're just going to like pick your bum up a little bit. So you're sort of like hovering off your heels and then put yourself back down. Glutes are relaxed here. We take an inhale. Squeeze your bum. You're sort of like lifting. I could slide maybe a binder underneath your tailbone and then lower back down. Take a breath in. Breathe out. You're going to squeeze your glutes, lift up just to that little hover. lower back down. Take a breath in, breathe out, lift up just to hover. So we're sort of collecting our glutes here, and then we soften back down. 2 more, breathe it in. As you lift up, think ever so slightly about leaning back a little bit, back down. My legs are already shaking. Anybody else? One more time. We're gonna lift up. You're just gonna hold that little hover here for 5. So much quad. 4, 3, my calf is trembling. 2, last 1, lower down. Give it a little breaky. We're gonna add those 2 things together. So we're gonna take our hinge, we're gonna sit to hover, and then squeeze and hinge. Does that make sense? So we're never, oh God, I'm already on fire. So we're never gonna sit fully down. We're gonna go for 6, where we do our hinge, we go to hover, and then back into our hinge. Yeah, hands are still across our shoulders. You pick your range depending on your needs. So let's come all the way back up again. Let's take a breath in together. Let's take a breath out together. Start to think about that bit of a pelvic scoop, the lengthening through the spine, the collection of the core. We're going to take our breath in, and as we breathe out, you're going to find your version of a hinge. Now, from your hinge, can you stick your bum out and find that little hover, but don't sit on your glutes, and then fire your bum lift back up into that leany place. We sit our bums down towards our heels, but change our mind. Lift back up and lean. Good. So it's not like a lift all the way up. We find our little hover off of our glutes, and then we're in a diagonal. We find our little hover, lift our glutes up in a diagonal. Let's go for 3, up and lean. Let's go for 2, up and lean. One more time, little hover, up and lean. Hold your hinge for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. Bring yourself all the way up. Plant your hands, maybe walk your legs out. You can slide the towel out from underneath you. Give yourself a little shake. We're going to revisit that in the nearish sort of future. Okay, let's bring ourselves all the way down to our forearms. And we're going to slide our legs back so we're down on our bellies. So again, we're kind of like letting the thighs take a bit of a break here. I feel like we haven't done this one in a while, and I was recently reminded of it being my favorite plank. So you're going to tuck your toes. Can you feel like your forearms are down, yeah? Elbow to your fingers. We're going to push elbow to fingers down into the floor beneath us. We're going to feel like the whole arm is trying to separate wide of each other, and then hug the elbows down. So I'm quite wide across my collarbones. Take all of those things, breathe in. And then as you breathe out, just draw your rib cage up and in. So it's sort of like I'm doing a cat spine, but not super rounded. Take one more breath in. Keep your knees down. You're going to lift your hips up. And we're going to meet there. Now, as you've lifted up, this is a kneeling plank. Can we keep pushing the arms away, drawing the arms wide, hugging the elbows down, lengthening through our spine, and our glutes are on. We're holding here for 5. Breathe it out through the mouth. 4. Think about wrapping wide across the belly button. For 3. For 2. Last 1. Lower all the way down. Take a little break. Maybe give yourself a little wibble side to side. Maybe let your head come down. Take a second to collect your energy. And then let's come back up. Elbow to middle finger, and all of your fingers are down on the floor. Push the floor away. Draw your arms wide away from each other. Hug the elbows down. Toes are tucked. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, first breath is just to collect your rib cage so it's not poking out. We're long through our spine. Inhale again. And as you breathe out, lift the hips to join you so you're in that kneeling plank. Now, before we lift the thighs, let's check back in with our arms. Push the floor away. The whole arm is pushing the floor away. Arms are drawing wide away from each other. Elbows are hugging down. Glutes are on. And then maybe you lift those thighs. Keep it energized. I'm going to lower my knees, but you can lift your thighs. For 5. For 4. For 3. For 2. Last 1, lower it down. Give yourself a little shaky shake. Maybe let your cheek come to the mat. Bring yourself back up. One more time here. Hands push down through the floor. We kind of know our home base now, yeah? Arms are pushing down. Arms are drawing wide. Elbows are hugging in. Take a breath in. First breath is just to collect the rib cage, so we're a little more active. Second exhale is to lift the hips up. Make sure the rib cage is still drawn in. Check in with your home base. Hands are down, drawing wide, elbows in, and then maybe it's in your wheelhouse to lift your thighs. Hold it here, breathe in. You keep breathing. Hold it here, breathe out. I just want to check the time so that I can time you for realsies. Breathe in, breathe out. We have 20 more seconds here. So play with your shape, right? Keep checking in with the arms, pushing the floor away. Your knees could be down, but wherever you are, there's this constant battle for growing long through head to tail and then wide across the belly. You're here for 4, for 3, for 2. Last one, lower down to your knees, push yourself back, take a child's pose or shell stretch, whatever feels good. Knees can go wide, big toes can touch. Catching your breath. And then if it feels good for you, walk those hands over to the left. Let's take a little side bend here. Right hip draws back. If being belly down doesn't feel good, feel free to flip onto your back and do a twist. Take your legs over to the left. Take one more breath in here. Walk your hands through center and then around to the right. Breathing it in. Breathing it out. Same thing if you're on your back, just take your knees over to the right. And then hands through center, walk yourself all the way up. Okay, we're gonna come back to our knees here. So bringing your blanket back if you'd like to. Now, of course, if this whole kneeling situation is not working for you, keep it a little bit smaller. You could also be squatting standing, right? If being on your knees like this is just like not happening. So this time, your arms are gonna come forward. Can we channel what we just learned about our posture from our plank? So we're thinking about glutes on, we're thinking about ribs drawing down, we're thinking about wide, those arms are long. We're going back to those hinges. Glutes are nice and stable for us, quads are nice and stable. Take your breath in as you breathe out, go for that little hinge. Pause here for a second and then bring it forward. Now this might feel easier this time because your arms are long, they're not weighted. Don't worry, we're gonna add something with the arms. Breathe it in, breathe out. Take the lead, grow long through your spine. Breathe in here, breathe out to bring yourself all the way up. That's happening from your glutes. 2 more, inhale, and your quads. Breathe out, take that hinge. Inhale here, breathe out, pull yourself all the way up. One more time, breathe in. You're gonna breathe out, you're gonna hold this guy here, hold it here. Can you flip your palms to face up for me? You're gonna keep holding on to your hinge as best as you can. If this is not an option, bring yourself upright, yeah? Hold it here, palms are up. Your left arm is gonna open out to the side. You're gonna twist to look at it. Can you lean to the left side a little bit more, but keep your hips pointing forward, and then torso twist yourself back to center. Breathe in here as you breathe out. Open your right arm out to the right. Lean into it, but keep your hips pointed center, and then bring yourself back to the front. Breathe in. One more each side. Left arm twist. It's an upper body rotation. This is obliques here supporting you. Both hips face forward. Breathe out. Torso brings you back to center. One more time. Breathe in. Breathe out around to the right. Hold that there, but remember your hips are forward. Reach, 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 and then bring yourself back to center. All the way up. Take a little break. I can't remember if we did that last week or not, but we're still gonna add on from here because I'm really loving this one right now. All the way back up, we're gonna add on. So again, if hinging is not feeling fabulous on your joints, you can come up, take a squat. A squat against the wall is always fabulous if you have that option, or just stay upright and just do the upper body. All fabulous options. Okay, arms are forward. Let's take a breath in all together. Let's take a breath out all together. Feeling that same experience from when you were in a plank, right? The collection of the core, the work of the back of the body, the broadening, the widening across the collarbones. Inhaling here as you breathe out, let's take that hinge. Now let's really stay here and let's troubleshoot as we're here. So there's definitely work through the quad here. We're working on opening up through that hip, right? Especially if we've been sitting a lot. We want to think about scooping the bum underneath us, but lengthening through our spine as well as keeping that core in that plank arrangement, right? So much happening here. Palms are flipping up. Now we're gonna keep the hips pointing forward. We're gonna open the left arm out to the left and then freeze. So there's a twist through the body now. Now, if it's reasonable to really lean into that left arm, Go for it. If the pelvis starts to twist with you, bring it in a little bit. Fire up through those muscles. We're gonna bicep curl here for 10. If you have hand weights at home, 9. Feel free to add them in. 8. But how much work can you make your biceps do? 7. As you're curling here. 6. And as you're curling, we're keeping 5. All of the body work. 4. Firing up through those legs and glutes. 3. Keep it breathing for 2. One more time. Show off those muscles. Arms reach long. Come back to center. Bring it forward if you want, or just hold your lean. I need to take a break. Breathe in. Breathe up. When we're ready, we meet back in that hinge. Maybe you've been there the whole time. Zipping up through your thighs, connecting in through your abs, finding your home base here. Palms are up. This time we're going to open our arms out to the right. If it's available, maybe hinge and lean more. Maybe reach more through that right arm. Look at those right hands. Bicep curl here, please, for 10. Reach it nice and long. Curl for 9. You've got it. Keep going for 8. For 7. Now, can you keep the tone? 6. Even as the arms reach long. 5. Can you hinge back a little bit more? 4. Hip bones are pointing forward. 3. Maybe your legs are on fire. Mine are. 2. Last 1. Reach those arms out. Come back to center. Sit down to your heels if you can. Give your quads a little zhuzh here. We're going to flip onto our backs. That was a fun experience, right? Let's bring ourselves all the way down. And just take a second to be like, thank God, we are back on the earth. We're going to roll up a little bit into a bit of a bridge, and then we're going to crack on with a little bit more core. So feeling your feet planted parallel hip distance apart. Pubic bone, hip bones start level, and it's important to feel that distinction, right? So that when we do find a bit more of a C curve, that it feels like a different shape. Your arms can be planted down on the floor into fists. They could be completely long and relaxed or up in the air. But if your arms are off of the floor, they're like, super, super tight. Feet planted, take your breath in. As you breathe out, can you scoop your pubic bone backwards? So you're scooping pubic bone to belly button. And then fire your glutes. Push the floor away as you lengthen yourself up and out. Take a breath in at the top here. And then as you breathe out, reverse engineer this so you're scooping in an opposite direction. All the way down until your spine finds the floor. Take a breath in here. As you breathe out, we're going to scoop. We're going to push the floor away. We're going to lift our hips up. We lift up and open. And when I mean open through the hip. We're still keeping the ribs drawn in. Arms are nice and tight. And as you breathe out again, roll yourself all the way down. 2 more here, breathe in. As we breathe out, we find that belly scoop first, then the glutes, push the floor away, lift up and open. Inhaling at the top, keep hugging heels to glutes, reaching knees forward, and then rolling yourself down and keep drawing the heels in. So we're again firing up through the backs of the legs here. One more time as we breathe out, we're going to roll up, we're going to pause at the top and revisit our pelvis. So imagine that there was like a phone or a ball in between your thighs, and we want to give it an ever so slight little bit of a squeeze. Not so much that your thighs touch just yet, but we want to keep a bit of a space. We're thinking about that bit of a scoopy pubic bone situation and ribs drawn in. This is very much like the shape you just practiced. We just happen to be flipped on our backs now. Now, can you keep the thighs reaching forward? You're just going to tilt the left side of your pelvis down, and it only goes down as much as you can keep your legs stable. So it might not be huge. And then fire your left bum cheek to bring your pelvis back up to center. Right side of your pelvis draws down. It's like a teeter-totter. Right goes down, left goes up, but your legs stay totally still. Fire your glute, bring yourself back up to center. Left side of the pelvis draws down as the right side of the hip lifts up. Notice I'm not lowering my bum in space. I'm sort of spinning my pelvis in space. And then left bum cheek brings you back up. Right hip rolls down as the left hip draws up. Keep those legs reaching long. Right bum cheek up to center. Left hip draws down. Fire up through those arms if they're lifted in space. And then lift up to center. Right hip draws down. We're breathing in. Exhale to lift you up. And so the bottom glute, so if you're tipping to the left, your left bum cheek would be your bottom bum cheek, gets to relax. And then it changes its mind. It super fires to lift you up to center, and maybe center is a smidgen higher. harder. And then your right bum cheek is like, that was fun, let me try. It lowers, it rotates, it spirals, maybe relaxes a bit, and then that right bum cheek lifts you up. Inhale, left bum cheek draws down, and then left bum cheek up. One more time, right bum cheek down, right bum cheek up, and then freeze here. Take a breath in, take a breath out. Feel the backs of the legs working. Feel the belly stabilizing you. We're gonna go for a bit of a prance. So without changing through your hips, can your left heel just hover off of the floor? And then lower your left heel down, right heel is gonna hover off of the floor. Lower right heel, switch to left. And then left heel lower, switch to right. And so there's this moment where both heels hover and then they switch. And then both heels hover and then just one lowers. So we're going right heel down, switch, left heel down, switch, right heel down, switch, left heel down. Little bit of a prance, a little bit of a prance. So my thighs are going to move now because one heel is lifting off of the floor at a time. But my pelvis is not. My pelvis is hugging as much as it can, nice and wide, wrapping around. Glutes are on behind me, lifting my hips up. And even though my heels are prancing up and down off of the floor, they're hugging in. So they're still radiating this energy out. So much tension behind the legs here. If your back is starting to bother you, you can always lower this shape down. Maybe stick your bum out and find more of a neutral. Switching heels, switching heels. If you're feeling really supportive, you could always double time. Tap, 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 tap for 10, 9, 8. Arms are squeezing. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Can we meet with both of our heels hovered, not in your highest half toe, like halfway down? We're all going to stick our bums out and lower towards the floor, but don't actually touch. And then change your mind, scoop your pelvis, lift your hips back up. Stick your bum out, lower halfway down, bring your ribs with you. Keep hugging heels in, use your glutes to lift up. Stick your bum out, lower halfway. Can you see my leg shaking? Exhale, lift it up. Lower down halfway, stick your bum out, squeeze your glutes, lift up. We're going for 5. Lift it up. We're going for 4. Lift it up. I just lowered my heels because my legs were vibrating like insanely. For 2, but I'll finish strong with you. One more time, lift it up and then hold it here. Can you squeeze everything as tight as you can? Through those arms, through those abs. Heels are hovered. Hug the heels to the glutes. Reach the knees forward for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Lower your heels, roll all the way down. If you need to do a little windshield wiper here, please feel free. If you need to do a little knees to chest to roll yourself out, please feel free. But ideally, your back doesn't feel too horrendous here. We're going to plant those feet on the floor. We're going to really start to work through those low abs now. So if we could take a breath in, hip bones and pubic bone are in like a nice flat triangle, right? So you can always check in with yourself there. That inhale through the nose. And then just exhale it out through the mouth. Inhaling through the nose, backs and sides of the ribs. Exhaling out through the mouth. Pelvic floor draws up, rib cage draws down, belly button opens wide, right? We're like really starting to create this nice casing for ourselves. And then I know we did this last week, but just going for a little extra reminder, I'm going to scoop myself up. Can we keep our pelvis level while our head is down and just lift up through your toes? Your left heel is going to slide gently along the floor and just notice if your pelvis does anything funky, right? If it leans side to side. Pull the left heel in. And then exhale, slide the right heel away. Pull that right heel in. And then left leg slides away. So very simple choreography here. Left heel pulls in. And then right leg reaches up. So keep going with that. Keep it slow. And we're just going to check in on some housekeeping. So once you've established your pubic bone, hip bone alignment, and you know that that's not going anywhere, you could always check in if you place your fingers on your actual hip bones. And as you're reaching your legs out, notice if they start to teeter-totter. We want to keep our hips as still, our pelvis as still as we can. You could also keep fingertips on your hip bones and bring your thumb up to your low ribs. And what you'll notice is if your pelvis tips, you're going to feel that relationship change. So just taking a second here to like really recalibrate what's happening in the deepest layer of our core, our transversus abdominis, and it doesn't do anything for us but stabilize. So the only way we challenge it out of the gate is to challenge the stability. One more time. Pull the leg in and then freeze. Can you walk those feet together? Bring your feet flat on the floor and then roll up to your toes. So we're on our toes now. Toes are on the floor, heels are hovered. Without using your glutes, can you take a breath in? And again, if you have a fingertip on your hip bone and a thumb on your rib cage, as you breathe out, we're trying to sort of like suspend or draw those spaces towards each other. Inhale to release. As you breathe out, you're scooping your low back to the floor, so the hip bone and the rib cage are drawing towards each other. One more time, inhale to release, and you're doing this without bum. Exhale to scoop. Now, if this scoop is feeling pretty good, just check in and make sure you're not popping up through the middle of your belly. We want to feel like that space is flattening and widening. Take a breath in here. As you breathe out, can you lift one leg up to a tabletop and just make sure your pelvis, your low back didn't change. And then as you breathe out, keep scooping, your second leg lifts. Now you're going to keep your scoop here, and instead of sliding our feet along the floor, we're sliding them in the air. So we're breathing in, and as we breathe out, reach that left leg away, and as that leg reaches long, make sure you're still scooped low back to the floor. Inhale, pull that left leg in. Exhale, right leg reaches away. And it's happening from below your belly button first. Pull the right leg in. As you breathe out, left leg reaches away. Inhale to pull that leg in. Exhale, right leg reaches away. So same little bit of choreography here, little bits of housekeeping as we build. That same relationship of keeping your pelvis stable, can you find that here? Second sort of layer to that is that we're not letting the low back peel off of the floor, and we're not letting our belly buttons bubble up through the midline. So you have to work extra hard to scoop through the pelvis and create space through the front of the hip. This means we're working quads and we're working hamstrings and glutes, and I know you know where those are because we just spent forever warming them up. You could also flex your feet here, like you're pushing something away, if that feels nicer for you. The lower your leg goes, the more challenge it is to keep our scoop, so let the pelvic stability and scoop be your tip-top goal here. Right leg reaches away. We're going one more each side. Inhale it in, toes can be pointed or flexed. Pull the right leg in and freeze. Now, if your back needs a break, drop those legs down. If you're feeling totally fine, you're going to keep your legs up. Let's turn those legs out and bring your heels together like you're creating a little bit of a diamond. In fact, it's not a little bit, it is a diamond. If your hip flexors are bothering you, you can always drop your toes down. Yeah, you don't have to keep them up. But if your legs are up, can you squeeze those heels together like cray-cray? Keep scooping through your belly. You're still supported here. Hands are going to come behind your head to interlace and support your neck. Keep scooping like your life depends on it. Breathe in, you're looking up at the ceiling. As you breathe out, you're curling up. Squeeze your heels together more and look at your belly and make sure you're still scooping. Inhale to lengthen back, head heavy in hands. As you breathe out, you're scooping and your ribs are drawing down, and that gives you leverage to curl. Inhale as you lengthen back. Do not let that low belly space relax. Exhale, scoop it up. That's not fair, actually. It does release a little bit, but not your low back against the floor. Exhale it up. So I don't want you to squeeze your pelvic floor the whole time, but I don't want you to release your low back away from the floor either. I like to take my hands truly below my belly button. I take 2 fingers and I just sort of poke down, and that helps to remind me that that's where the initiation is coming from. So maybe that works for you too. Keep squeezing your heels together. We're curling up for 5. Remember, you could always drop your toes down. That's totally fine. For 4, in fact, you might feel more core if you do that, right? So figure out what works for you. For 3, it's sort of fun, right? We got to adjust with what makes sense for our bodies. For 2, I'm hoping we're feeling some abs here. Last 1. Now hold it up. Squeeze those heels. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, can you scoop your belly more? Can you maybe curl up a little bit more? Dig those heels together. We're going to breathe out, and you're going to push your legs out and away from you. Zip those inner thighs. Scoop, scoop, scoop. Inhale to pull those legs in. Keep squeezing your heels like you're juicy and orange. Everything initiates below the belly button. As you exhale, scoop, 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 and then your legs reach away. You could be pointed here. Inhale to pull it in. Exhale, scoop and reach. 2 more. Inhale in. Keep that curl. Keep your scoop. Exhale. Reach the legs away. They could be on a diagonal if you have the support for your low back. Last one, reach your legs out. If you can hold. If they need to come down, come down. Little ab pulses here, please. For 10, for 9, for 8, for 7. Your thighs are so strong. 5, 4. They could be bent. 3, 2. Last one, hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, wherever makes sense for you. Last one, pull it in. Take a nice big breath in through the nose. Exhale it out. So I'm only one body in space. So please feel free to, again, modify those legs as you need to. I'm trying to show as many layers as I can, but I only have 2 legs. Okay, let's bring it back up. So planting feet on the floor, hip bones, pubic bone level. Take your breath in. Take a breath out. We're going to initiate from our pelvic bowl here. So inhaling through the nose. And then without using your glutes as you breathe out, like there's suspenders from hips to ribs or a marble on your pubic bone. On your next exhale, you're going to scoop your low back towards the floor. And as you do that, if you had a marble on your pubic bone, it would roll down. If you had suspenders from your hip bones to your rib cage, they're drawn in. But mostly I'm just trying to avoid the language of pressing low back into the floor or popping through the belly button, right? We want it more active than that. Walk your feet together, roll up to your toes. If that feels amazing, stay here. If you know you'd like to lift up to a tabletop, feel free to do so. Keep making sure you're scooping. If you loved that diamond, you can bring your legs together, heels together, or you can let your legs come down. Hands come behind your head, around like 390 by now, right? Take your breath in. As you breathe out, you're curling up through your home base. Now, we did that work at the beginning of mobilizing and then stabilizing our pelvis so that we know exactly where our pelvis is underneath us. So nothing here is going to move now. We can see the angle of our knees. So you're going to inhale to take it back just a little, and then exhale, reach up and over towards the outside of the left knee. And that rotation is happening from the upper body. My left shoulder blade is also off the floor, so I'm not twisted all the way down. Inhale, lengthen back through center. Exhale, up and over to the outside of the right knee. Take your pause. Make sure your right shoulder blade is also off the ground. Inhale through center. Exhale, up and over. I'm going to lower my knees or my thighs, my shins, because I'm never going to be able to talk us through this if I keep my legs up. But you be where you need to be. Inhale through center. Exhale, up and over to the right. So lots happening here. Keep going in your twists. First and foremost, we're always coming back to our pelvic stability, right? So keep moving. So that connection of the scoop into our low backs, of not letting our hips rock with us. That's how you're working your deep, deep low core here, is by stabilizing through your pelvis. Then on top of that, we have our rectus abdominis, our six-pack muscles, because we are flexing forward, which is what that does for us. Second or third layer, I should say, is we have our obliques because we're twisting around and we're not going into a massive, massive twist, which means it's like super, super concentrated. So I'm hoping it's getting nice and fiery for you here. The next time you're up and over to the left, you're going to hold your twist to the left. Oh, Lord have mercy. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Now, if your legs are down, you're welcome to join us here. If your legs are up, keep your twist to the left. You're going to reach those legs out for 5. Inhale to pull them in. As your legs reach long, can you curl up a little higher in your twist? 4. Pull the legs in, push them away for 3. I'm doing a little point and flex with those legs. You're welcome to as well. For 2, above all, pelvis stays stable. Last one, reach your legs wherever makes sense for you. Curl up through the torso, scoop through the belly, little pulses up to the left for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Now we're going to try not to take a break. Pull the legs in. Inhale back through center. Exhale up and over to the right. Freeze. You're scooped through your belly. Remember, your legs are wherever you need them to be. Keep coming back to that home base. Pelvic stable. You're curled to the right. Let's reach those legs out and away for 5. They could be on a diagonal, remember, for 4. If you have that stability, I can't talk and do that. For 3. So work where it makes sense for you, but that pelvis does not move. 2. One more time. Pause with your legs where you need them. Pulse it up to the right for 10, 9, 8, 7. You can do it. 6, 5. We're in it together. 4. Strong legs. 3, 2. Last one. Lower down. Take a break. Give yourself a little rock side to side. That was sweet fire. Take a big breath in through the nose. Take a big breath out through the mouth. We're going to roll over onto one side. Bring ourselves up. Now this is going to be a little bit of, let's do an opening first, and then I'm going to see how it goes. And if we hate this one, I don't think I've done this with you before, please let me know, right? I'm just trying to think about lots of stuff for our upper body. So if we could take our left arms, reach our left arms all the way up, and then take our left arms all the way back so your palms face away from you. Just give yourself a little bit of a stretch through that pec. So you're kind of leaning into that left side. It's also a bit of a stretch through the body. You could reach your right arm up if you wanted to. And then bring your right arm down. Bring yourself all the way up. That same arm, you're going to rotate it inwards. Place your fingertips to face in towards your hips. Now, please don't try to force your shoulder open here. You can't. You've internally rotated through your humerus, so it's not going to be the same amount of opening, but we're just practicing weight bearing here. And then again, bring yourself all the way up. Give your wrist a little shake. You're going to reach that right arm up, rotate it around so your fingertips are pointing towards, or away from you, I should say. I was going to say to the top of your mat, but depending how you're faced, that might not be true. Fingertips facing away from you. So this is where you can really open through the shoulders. Keep a gentle bend in that elbow, right? No hyperextension here. And then maybe reaching your left arm up. Taking a breath in, breathing it out. And then you can use that left hand to help bring you up. That same arm is just going to spiral, so fingertips maybe face in. Little bit of a change in the emphasis here in your shoulders and in your pecs. Breathing it in and out, and then that left hand can bring you up. So what I'm going to try to do, and again, if this doesn't work, let me know, is I'd like us to set ourselves up so that our fingertips are facing in towards our hips. And you're welcome to keep your hips down on the floor. Now, this is already quite a big opening through the shoulders. So just staying here for a second, feeling your feet nice and anchored. Very much a lifted of the chest experience, right? Kind of like what we did when we were doing our hinge, our leaning back. It's that same shape. I'm going to start with feet and glutes down. Can you inhale, bend through your elbows a little bit, and then push the floor away. Bend through your elbows a little bit, and then push the floor away. Bend a little bit, and then push the floor away. And depending what's happening in your shoulders, like for me, this is super, super extreme, and push away. And it's going to take a few for it to be a tricep experience. Now, if you're feeling really healthy and strong through your shoulders, you could lift those hips up, bend down and tap your glutes, and then push up and lift. Bend down and tap your glutes. As you straighten your arms, use your glutes to lift your hips up. We're going for 5. It's like a reverse tricep push-up, but it is pretty extreme. For 4, push up and lift. You could keep your hips down. 3. Let's go for 2. Push it up. 1 more time. Push it up, and then walk yourself all the way forward. Give your arms a little shake. I hope that worked out for us. Let's scoot back down onto our backs. So this one gets a little finicky, but it's one of my absolute favorite for triceps, and it's again in that theme of opening our shoulders. So let's reach our arms up to the ceiling. Make your hands into fists and like really squeeze your arms, like super, 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 super tight. Your palms are going to face each other, and then they're going to keep facing each other, but then they rotate to face the back of the room behind you. So they're not going forward and around. They're going in towards each other and then back behind you. Can you keep the strength of your arms? You're going to flick your wrists away so that the fleshy inner part of your wrist is really, really exposed. The heel of your hand is really exposed. Now remember, you're squeezing through the arms the whole time. Keep the fleshy part of your inner wrist exposed, heel of your hand exposed, and take those arms back so your biceps are by your ears. Now at this point, it's likely your wrists curled in on each other. Can you keep flicking them away? You're going to bend through your elbow. Try to tap the heel of the hand on the floor. It's probably not going to happen. It's most likely going to be your knuckles. And then exhale, stretch your arms out. Biceps and ears stay near each other, and you're still kicking out from the heel of your hand. Inhale to bend and tap. And then exhale, squeeze and reach. Inhale to bend and tap. Exhale to squeeze and reach. Inhale to bend. Now, as you're doing this, you can hopefully see your elbows a little bit. And what I want you to notice is if your elbows start swinging wide of each other. Can you imagine like you have a ball or a hoop in between those elbows? You're tapping heel of your hand on the floor behind you. Exhale to reach. Let's go for 3. Exhale to lift. Let's go for 2. I'm hoping you're feeling arms here. And shoulders. Last one. Lift it up. Bring those arms all the way down. Give yourself a little shaky shake. We're going to flip onto our belly. So we're going in like a little bit of a circuit for these arms, yeah? Like flipping ourselves around. Coming on to hands and knees here. So user's choice. You can be on hands and knees with your knees underneath your hips. You can walk your knees back so that they're in a line like a kneeling plank. It's up to you. We're going to take our fingertips and spin them in just a little bit. We're going to keep thinking long glutes are on. We push the floor away. Arms are drawing wide. Heels of your hands draw down. Nice and slowly, can we lower to the floor? 3. Can we lower to the floor? 2. Lower to the floor. 1. And then let your chest just melt. Take a second, melt it. And then be like, no, we want to bring ourselves back up. So we bring our shoulder blades back. We're looking down at the floor. And then can you push yourself back up the way you came? For 3, for 2, for 1. Remember, you're either in hands and knees or you're in your kneeling plank. And now you know where we're going. If you'd like to be in a full plank, you can. Gently lower down 3. Gently lower down 2. Gently lower down 1. And then melt to the floor. Take a second. Be like, that was fun. Shoulder blades on our back, looking down to the floor. Push that floor away. Glutes are supporting you. 3. You could be in a full plank here. 1. Take a breath in. Lower down. 3, 2, 1. Melt to the floor. Take a little break. That was fun. And then shoulder blades on our back, looking to the floor. Whole arm is pushing the floor away for 3, for 2, for 1. And then hold whatever version of up you're doing. Quadruped, kneeling plank, or full plank. Lower down 3, lower down 2, lower down 1. Take a little break. That was kind of fun. Let's hold that there for a second and then look down at the floor. Turn on your muscles and then push the floor away. 3, 2, 1. Enjoy your up version. One more time. Inhale here. Lowering down 3, lowering down 2, lowering down 1. Wide across the tops of the shoulders. Melt down to the floor. Shoulders can sink in. We're calm, but then we turn everything back on. Belly is stable. Push that floor away. 3, 2, 1, and then your choice to take a bit of a break, or if you'd like to take a bit of a plank here, you can. If you're holding your plank, can you step your left hand or forearm forward, start to turn onto the left pinky toe side of your foot, and then reach your right arm up. So side plank, lots of versions here. You could be on your knees. You could be on your forearm, reaching up. You could have 1 foot forward, 1 reaching long. I really don't mind. Find your version here. Holding for 10. For 9, for 8, wherever you are, use those glutes. 7, really lift your hips up. 6, it's kind of like you want to create a bit of a rainbow. 5, but that supporting arm or forearm is pushing down and hugging in towards you. 3, wide across the shoulders. For 2, last 1, bring it in, lower down. Bring yourself all the way back upright. Sitting, facing forward. Up to you. If this one really, really doesn't feel very good on your shoulders at all, you could always just go back down to where we're going to meet in push-up, yeah? If you can, fingertips face in towards your hips. We're wide across the shoulders, feet are on the floor. Now remember, it's up to you if you want to keep your glutes down and just do like a little, it's a smaller range, but it can work just as well. Or we bend our elbows, and as we straighten our arms, we lift our glutes up. We're going for 8. So we lower, and then your version of lift. We're going for 7. Push up and squeeze. We're going for 6. Nice and wide through that chest. We're going for 4. Whichever version you're working here, yeah? For 3. Did I miss 5? We're going for 2. We're going to do a bonus one. Last one here, and then we have our bonus one. Bonus, push yourself up, walk yourself forward. Maybe we did more than 8. It's like not a secret that movement instructors are not great counters. Let's lie all the way back down. Reach our arms up into fists. Take those arms that are nice and active. We're rotating our palms to face in, back behind us. Flick your wrists away so you're exposing the lovely fleshy part of the heel of your hand and your wrist. And then take those biceps back for your ears, to your ears. Now, I didn't say this on the first side, but it's likely your rib cage is going to want to pop up. Can you really glue those back ribs down to the floor? Showing off through the heels of the hands. We take the biceps back by the ears, but the ribs stay down. Bend at your elbow. You're tapping heels of hands or knuckles towards the floor. And then exhale, squeeze, and reach. Inhale, little tippity tap. And then exhale, squeeze, and reach. Now, as you bend the elbows, make sure they don't open really, really wide. We want to keep them hugging in. Inhaling to bend. And then exhaling to reach. We're going for 4. Now, as you're reaching those arms, try not to reach them up to the ceiling. They're reaching back behind you. For 3. Ribs stay in. For 2. Oh, suddenly it gets really, really heavy. Last one, reach the arms up, bring them all the way down. Flip all the way over onto your belly, or not onto your belly, hands and knees, but belly is facing down. And then this time you're going to walk your hands really nice and wide. So they are going to go wide to the outside of your mat. Again, user's choice. You could be hands and knees here, which feels great. You could be in a kneeling plank. You could be up in a full plank. Your fingertips are facing forward. Find where you want to be. Establish home base, a nice active place through the body. Push the floor away. Draw the arms nice and wide. Hug heels of hands down. Elbows are going wide this time as you pull your chest forward for 3, for 2, for 1. Melt down to the floor. Nice little bit of a break. Turn your gaze down. Shoulder blades on your back. Belly glutes active. And then push yourself back up. 3, 2, 1. You could be in a full plank here. Inhale. Lower down 3. Lower down 2. Lower down 1. Melt to the floor. A little bit of a break. Active through shoulders and body. And then push that floor away. 3, 2, 1. Little pause in whatever your up version is. Down for 3. Now, if you're in your quadruped, that is kind of like a weird, awkward, like dolphin-y type pose or puppy pose. 3, 2, 1. So know that I know that. Down for 3, 2, 1. And then you take a bit of a break. That felt pretty good. Push the floor away. 3, 2, 1. 2 more times. Down for 3. Now you could always, always, always be at a wall or a couch here, yeah? If your shoulders, if your wrists, those things aren't feeling good, and I'm sorry I didn't say that sooner. I'm hoping we're like kind of with the flow of what these mods can be so that you don't have to be all the way weight bearing down. You are up on your second one. I'm going to flip around, but you should be fine. If you would like to take a victory plank, find it here, or a victory nap, whatever feels good for you. Right hand is going to scooch forward. Let's rotate over to that right pinky edge of our foot. Open up into your version of a side plank. Whoop, you could be down on a knee. You could have one leg forward, one long. You could be on both knees. You could be up on your forearm. But wherever you are, you're making sure that your supporting hand is pushing the floor away, hugging the forearm in, lifting up for 5, for 4. Glutes are active. For 3, showcasing that hip. For 2, last 1, bring it down. Really nice job. Let's give those arms a little shaky shake. And then last little bit of business. Let's come back onto our backs. I was going to stand and then I changed my mind. Let's come back onto our backs. So feeling those feet connected down into the floor. Reaching those arms up if that feels like a reasonable option. Taking a breath to collect ourselves. And then when you're ready, starting from your lower core, right, that little bit of a scoop. We scoop, we push the feet down, we lift our glutes up, we're radiating out. Now we have done tons of work on opening the front of the body today and connecting through the back of the body. So if your body sort of feels like it's dunzos, that's totally fine. Reaching up through the arms. But if you're up, we are like so stable here. Feet are pressing down, heels are hugging into glutes, radiating those thighs forward, hugging in through those arms. If it feels reasonable, can we roll up just to the toes of the right foot? Notice if anything wobbles or changes. Notice if your pelvis changes. We know that our hips have to stay level here. If it makes sense, can you lift the right leg up? And what makes sense will be if your hips change, right? If they start to change, then we're going to keep that leg down so we can really focus on our stability. If this makes sense in your body, maybe the right leg reaches, but again, you want to make sure that those hips stay stable. I'm going to bring my toes down. You be where you need to be. We're going to lower our hips just a little to the floor, then squeeze our glutes and lift up for 5. Lower down, keep the pelvis stable, lift up for 4. Lower just a hinge, squeeze your glutes, lift up for 3. Lower down, and you might feel like you have a better experience with a foot on the floor, like you have more range. Last one, you're gonna hold where you are for 10, 9, 8, 7. Check in with those hips. Inner thighs are drawing in. For 3, for 2, stay up, lower your right toes down, lower your right foot all the way down to the floor. Both of your hips, both of your feet lower down just halfway, and then lift yourself back up to center. Fire up through those inner thighs, through that scoop of the pelvis, the abs are on. Let's roll up to the toes of our left foot, and then again, take a little housekeeping pause. Make sure those hips are nice and stable. Maybe it makes sense to lift up the leg to table. Maybe it makes sense to reach it, but only depending on what's happening through your pelvis, right? I'm gonna keep my toes down. Let's lower our hips halfway. Let's lift them up for 5. Lower down halfway, push the ground away, use your glutes, lift up for 4. Lower down, lift up for 3. Lift up for 2. Both sides working to stabilize. Last one, then hold exactly where it makes sense for you for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the left leg down, lower all the way down. Bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little rock side to side. Catch your breath. And then we're going to stay on our backs. So if you would like something for behind your head, which I always love to do for myself, feel free to slide that in. We're going to take our legs over to the left. Oh, crack, 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 crack. And then as your legs go to the left, your right arm can go out to the side. It can go up overhead. I like to place my left hand on my left thigh. And we're trying to keep that right shoulder down as we provide a bit of relief. And I hope it does feel like a bit of relief through the low back, not like a super, super pull. If it feels like a super pull, keep your legs up, yeah? Maybe going for more of a figure 4 is nicer for your body. Take your breath in here. Take your breath out. And then nice and gently bringing your legs back up to center. Bring your right arm down. If you'd like to give yourself another little rock or windshield wiper of the legs, feel free. And then over to the other side. Left arm up and over. I think it's so funny how across all modalities, there's some things that we just always say, like windshield wiper of the legs is always used all the time. And I just think it's so funny because it's like, yes, we all know what that is. And I'm sure when windshield wipers were invented, they did not expect that that word would translate into movement. Noticing side to side how your body feels, how your breath feels in your body. Taking a breath in here, breathing it out. And then you can roll all the way over to that side. Bring yourself all the way up. And we're going to come to whatever feels good for you. If it's sitting on your heels, I'm going to slide my blanket underneath my knees so that it relieves some of that hinge there. You could be standing, you could be upright, all of those things. And you're just going to take your arms forward in space. I'm pretty sure we've done this before. It's just a little bit more of a mobilizer. So you're going to draw your shoulders up towards your ears, but don't like give yourself a spasm or anything like that. Just like imagine your shoulder blades sliding up. And then imagine your shoulder blades initiating a hug together and then a sliding down your back. They scoot down, around, and forward up towards your earlobes. But again, don't like go so much it gives you a cramp. And then up, around, hug the spine as it draws down. 2 more. Up, around, and forward. Those shoulder blades lift up, around, and back. 1 more time. Up, around, and forward. And then down and back. You can let those arms fall. Inhale, reach those arms up. Bring them down. Give yourself a squeeze. Thank you so much for your hard work. We were backs of the legs, fronts of the legs, all the way through your abdomen, into the back chain of your body, into your arms. So much hard work as per always, and you totally rocked it. Thank you.